been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. The crash came when the cash came. Spend it for you get it like those rookies all on draft day. For the love like it's match game. Hit the ground running, really do it for my last name. They act different when the facts change. I'm not with the tip for tag games. In my own league, I don't chase game. In my own league, I don't hang with lanes. I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. Now how could that be? Talking about who can be talking about me. Feeling like
YouTube, what is going on? We are back. It's the Anger Management Podcast. Anthony, Mike, what is going on? You know, it's hot. We finally hit the hot peak. You know, the last few days were actually like 99, almost. I think we eclipsed over 100. Today's supposed to be about 92. Kids are at the splash park right now with the wife, so just enjoying some fun time out there. But no, it's hot. It is hot here. It's hot here, but oh yeah. It's probably just where you live. No, you know, it's everything's been going good though. I mean, it's just been a little bit crazy. So, folks, we haven't been on for a few, but you know, like I said, we're trying to get back on here. A lot of stuff to talk about that we want to get into. So we'll kind of jump into it a little bit. Obviously, we got Game 7 coming in, but the big kind of story that we want to start off with real quick is obviously the big trade that just happened. KD going to Houston for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, some second-round picks. It's kind of crazy, Mike. A lot of people is kind of back and forth with this. We kind of talked about it before the cast getting on here. I talked to another friend of mine too, and trying to figure out, you know, and from his standpoint where he thinks this is at, and you know, from you, I know you're talking about, you're kind of on the fence whether this makes Houston a championship team. He thinks this is a championship contender team now. It's kind of one of those things where I can see it going both ways. I'm a little bit more nervous about why Houston did it. Only because it's like, I guess it's more of a win now thing rather than looking for the future, because you're trading for a 37-year-old KD and got rid of a 23-year-old Jalen Green. But where are you at here, Mike? I don't want to take the words out of your mouth and sit here and say that, you know, you don't think that they are, but what do you think this trade means now for Houston and also for the West too, because everybody's getting, you know, better in the West too? Well, and that's why they say, and I think it's right now. They're doing this for now. They're going to try to win a championship this next year coming up, or in a couple of years from now. But see, the thing is I understand why they got rid of Green too. I mean, he's their best player on the team, but he was awful in the playoffs. I mean, terrible. I mean, I think his most points he scored, it was 12 this playoffs. I mean, he averaged, he was he almost had 20. He was like 21 points this year. He was like 21, 4 and 3. I think by far he was their best player, but I mean, I get it. He got him to that point, got to the playoffs, and then kind of, faltered, so maybe that was the reason why they thought about getting rid of him. Obviously, Dylan Brooks doesn't mean anything. That guy's a head case. I think that's he's not going to help them. I mean, he's great on defense. Can help him on the defensive side because Phoenix couldn't play any defense last year, so it's hard for me to think that they're a championship contender, but when you have KD, anything's possible. I mean, he played what, 62 games this year. I mean, most of that was load management though too. No, I think what I talked about too with him is whoever gets out of the West deserves to be in the finals no matter what, because it's tough. I mean, and we're gonna get into this Game 7. OKC's seen another Game 7 there, against Indiana here, and this is gonna be back-to-back series Game 7s for them that they have to play. Right? I mean, no, sorry, yeah, right, because they play Denver in a Game 7 series but. This is tough because I want to sit here and say I'm a huge KD fan. So I want to sit here and say that he has a chance to get, and I think he does. It's just going to be tough in that West. And I love Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green is a terrific ball player. They played each other. When they played each other, I mean, I think this year Houston was 3-0 against Phoenix. I think if I'm not mistaken, he outscored KD in the 3 games. I think he averaged 28 points. KD was around the 25 mark, something like that when they played against each other too. But I think he's such a great asset to have. So to get rid of him really, really hurts them, I think, in a way. But I understand that the playoff things, but he's young. He's only 23. You're talking about you're going from a 23-year-old to a 37. I get there's veteran shit. I mean, he's got, he's been in the playoffs. He's won he's won finals. He's won finals MVPs. So I get where they're coming from this. I understand why they're doing this. So this move right here is a win now mentality. It's not we're setting up for the future, because you got rid of 5 second-round picks, which some people would say is not necessarily a huge thing. Second-round picks maybe don't mean as much. I get that too, because there's only 2 rounds, and it's not like the NFL draft where it goes for 37 days and all this stuff because of all these picks. It's two rounds that they go. Your top picks are usually in that first, whatever you get in the first round is usually a person that is going to make your bench, that can still play for you, or is like a 6th man to 7th man, maybe even a starter if you're in the top 10, things like that. I get that part. But for Houston to get to a 2 seed this year, they're on the up and coming right now. I think you should have just stuck with what you were doing, honestly. I think what you guys had was good. And I think it would have worked out. I think you guys would still be a top 3 seed without KD. coming in next year still. But and it's a learning process for me. Like I said, he's only 23, so he can only learn from this. I don't think he gets worse. I think he just gets better. Well, from watching him, this is what I get from after watching the kid, seeing him play. I think he's great. I think he's gonna be fine. But now he's gonna go to Phoenix. Obviously, he's going to be the main person there. Or he's not going to be the main person. Sorry, he was the main person in Houston. I feel like in Phoenix now he can maybe get a little more because he won't be the main person there. I think Booker, Beal, whatever they plan on doing there, I think they'll probably obviously keep them both. He'll be able to try to fit, but they really make themselves smaller that way too, right? Going in with getting Green, having Booker, having Beal. So I'm wondering. Well, see, that's why I don't understand the trade. I don't understand the trade between two teams, because Phoenix really needs KD. They just need to make a few more other moves to get them back in there. Houston was already up, and the second seed ain't doing good. Where I feel like the trades, to me, doesn't necessarily help either side. I mean, I get Houston part. Houston, yes, but you said this too, and I start thinking about it more, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I get Houston still being good, but I don't know. Like, but Houston could be good for a while, whereas they're only going to be good now for 2 to 3 years, and then what happens after? That's the thing. Like, I can see them winning a championship, yes. But once he wins, what if he wins this next year coming up, and then he's like, well, then I'm just going to ride out, on my high horse, get in my championship and go. Now what? Now what do? You have no picks anymore. You've lost your pick, for this next year coming up. You lost your second round picks. KD's out. Now, Jalen Green, your young guy just left. Now what are you going to do? Where do you go from here now if for some reason they do win next year and he just says, okay, I'm done, I just walk out and leave? Now, I don't... Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe this is because this is the only team that can really make it work, and that's why they had to get rid of Green, because I know the other team they talk. I mean, when you think about like San Antonio, right? What would they have had to give up though to get him? Is the question, because they just got Fox. They have Wemby. So was Wemby did Wemby have to go to Phoenix? Did Fox have to go to Phoenix for that to work out? And then you look at it and you're like, well, what's the point if you can't get Fox, Wemby, and KD together? Maybe Castle's another one that throws in there because he had a great rookie year. And it's like, I don't want to get rid. And San Antonio's so smart because Pop is still there, right? So and Pop's not going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of Castle, our young guy, to bring in KD to just win. No. Wemby's young, Castle's young, Fox is young. Let's just keep this going the way it is, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be good. And so, same thing, we go into Minnesota. What does Minnesota have to give up? Do they got to give up Gobert? Does Edwards have to go? Because yes, you get it, and you think about these teams, and you're like, man, that'd be great to team up KD with Anthony Edwards and Gobert and stuff. But Just like now, some of these people that didn't even see the trade, they probably think, Houston fans are like, oh man, Jalen Green and KD together and Sengun. No, Jalen's gone now. You had to get rid of that to get him. And for me as a Houston fan, I'm trying to think of myself, as a fan of that, what I would think. And I would think I didn't like the trade as a Houston Rocket because of how we put it. I'm glad. We were just second seed. Yes, we lost, but we're young. You know what I mean? OKC lost last year. Where are they at now? They lost early. Well, and they got the 10th pick in the 2025 in this draft, so they get a top 10 pick. So the thing is you're going to get a good pick to add. So yeah, you may be small, but you're going to go get somebody bigger. You're going to go get an up and comer. You're going to get young again in Phoenix. Where Houston, you just got older. In the sense of, because you got him on that team, so you have to, like I said, if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm not happy as far as my future. I'm happy as far as, okay, but we got to win. It's kind of like the Dallas trade, right? We're gonna get rid of Luka because we're gonna win right now. AD's gonna bring us championship now. Then what happened? Nothing. So you better win. Like, this is the problem in the NBA is these trades are ridiculous in my opinion. Now it is absolutely ridiculous. Like I told you earlier, Gobert was traded for 5, first round picks. Mikal Bridges was traded for these first round picks. Desmond Bane just got traded for these picks. And these guys aren't worth what they're getting traded for. KD is worth the trade, but not this kind of a trade right now. This is if this was 27-year-old KD, okay, I'm fine. And I'm not saying KD can't play. KD's great. He's still tremendous. I get where they're going with this. I understand why, but for me, it's like, yes, you give up 5 second-round picks. You give up your number 10 pick. You give up 2 players, a defensive player. You gave up your best player if he's 27-year-old KD. 37-year-old KD, fine. You want to give him Jalen Green and fine. Give him Jalen and the 5 second-round picks. Cool. On your way. I can live with that. But you're also giving up a defender. You're also giving up your first pick, where you just came off your second seed. You could get a great draft pick because you're getting your number 10 pick, but you still went after KD. It's a little mind-boggling to me. I hope it works out for them because obviously, like I said, I'm a KD fan, so I hope it works out. I hope maybe he can get another one, which would be good for him, but. Right now, I'm on the fence of saying that it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm more on the it's not going to happen side than it is. Well, this is the KD's flaw is KD isn't a make your players better with him, because here's the thing, if he made players better, he has talent. He went to Golden State with Clay, with Steph, with all this other stuff. He went to OKC, he had Harden, he had Russ. That's fine, but he's a tremendous ball player. He's the best one. When he goes to those teams, he's still the best player. It's just he doesn't make players better, because how do you have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal around you and you don't even make a finals? You don't even go to the Western Conference Championship, right? You get to the Western Conference. So yeah, and you make. So here's my question. So my thing is yes, you have all these young talent that you're going to put around, but he doesn't make them better. They're going to have to get better on their own. You're going to have to put in a coaching. He's not going to come in, and he's not going to be some of these other players that are older veterans that could say, hey, this is how you're going to become better. This is what we need to do. KD just goes out there and plays basketball. He just, whatever you tell him, whatever goes out there, you just give him the ball and let him do his work. That's just what he is. He's not there to say, oh, well, let me go teach these guys how to get this done, to give him their mentality. He doesn't have that in his work ethic. His work ethic is just straight basketball and himself. He just focuses on getting better for himself every single year. What he does, he's not that player coach. He's not going to be that. No. No. You got to come ready to play. That's what it is. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not taking it as a flaw. Like, I'm not hating on him saying, oh, he's a terrible teammate. It's just, he comes in with the mentality, like, it's more of that mentality. It's like, we're all here in the NBA. You should be here ready to play. Just get in here and play ball the way that you're supposed to. You got drafted for a reason. You're playing in the NBA for a reason. Come out here and do it then. I don't need to come out here, like you said, and, pat you on the back, say, oh, come on. No. Come out here and be ready to play. That's just his mentality. And those West teams, they just beat each other up. And they beat each other up throughout the year. Well, it's like we just brought up. Look at Denver. Denver was down this year. They didn't have really much of anything, right? And they just pushed OKC to a Game 7. That just shows how strong the and Denver's just led by what? Just Jokic, a beat up Gordon, Porter was broken down too. I mean, and they pushed them to a Game 7. That's how strong the West is. Is teams that are just, you wouldn't think could do that are putting it through, and even going into Indiana. Like, how many people? We can move into this because it's Game 7 tonight, folks. And, hopefully everybody tunes into this. I think it's going to be a great game, honestly. But who would have thought Indiana could push OKC to a Game 7? I didn't. I thought this was kind of going to be a little bit over early. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Oh, they are. They are. Well, it's what they're a team. They're a great team. There's not a couple of guys that that show up, play, and then there's a few guys that just put in. They are a great team. Siakam shows up when he needs to. McConnell has been playing terrific off the bench. TJ's been on fire. But Nebhart when they need him. Mathurin when they need him. Halliburton's obviously, like you said, big shot time. That's the guy they give it to. This is a really good Miles Turner inside. I mean, you can go on with this lineup. They got a lineup of 8 guys to 9 that can actually just go out there, play ball, and get them a win. And it's exciting to see. And it's one of those things where this team too is they don't settle for that outside shot all the time. This is something we've talked about. They do get inside. I get the big man can shoot outside, but they understand too that they need to get inside, and they have. They've gotten inside. They did what they need to, even against the big guys inside with Hartenstein and Holmgren. They're still making them work. I think OKC underestimated them. I think OKC should have put Game 6 in. They should have just put the nail in the coffin right there. It should have been over. And what surprised me even more is not the fact that Indiana won. It was more the fact how bad they killed them in that game. Like, it was ridiculous. How do you go into that game up 3-2? There's Oklahoma. You have a chance to say, let's raise the trophy. Let's get one. We're ready to go. and you do that, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but you can't, the game like that, to put it away, go win 4-2. You don't blow it like that. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. This is a tough one for me. I'm leaning towards OKC. I am gonna go OKC only because it's in OKC. I'm going. This game 7 for me was based off of where it's at, and it's in OKC. If it was Indiana, I'm gonna say it's probably Indiana, and I'm going OKC just because it's at home for them. I don't think this game's gonna be a blowout. I think each team will go on a run throughout the game, where they'll each go up by maybe one team hits double digits or something, but 6 to 8 they'll be up, and then they'll get another run to come back. And I think it's just going to be back and forth till the end. I think we're going to see a great game. I think both teams are ready. I just think OKC will come out on top. I think SG and it has to. This is one of those things where Game 7s. We talk about being a great team. But still, this is when your superstars have to shine. I think Halliburton really needs to come out and have a great game and show off for Indiana. I think SGA needs to come out and I think SGA will do that. He's up and ready for the challenge. Halliburton hasn't needed to be in the challenge. And what I mean by not needed to, I know he's hit the shot, but those he's just been hitting them. It's been coming through. He wasn't. Throughout the year, he wasn't in the MVP discussions. He wasn't talked about, getting even to the finals here. So he just needs to come out and play his game like he knows how to. He needs to take over, and he needs to be a leader. He needs to be a leader out there for this team. Like I said, he doesn't need to be the top scorer or anything. Just be a leader and put up points. If he comes out and puts out another triple-double, OKC's in trouble. If Halliburton finds a way to get a triple-double in this game, I think Indiana finds a way to win. But SGA, I think, was going to cut. SGA is probably going to get it. I think he's going to have about 35 or more. That's where he's probably going to end up with. I hope not either. See, I think for me, Jalen Williams, I think, is the second guy in OKC for me that I think needs to be the next guy up from after SGA. I think Chet. I'm not a big fan of Chet. I'm not. I haven't been. I don't think he's gotten to his full potential yet. I think he could be a lot better. He needs to bulk up for one. I mean, Jokic was throwing him around inside. And the problem is, he doesn't want to bulk up maybe. I haven't seen it yet because he's had how long even in college. He still looks the same way he was in college. But he wants to sit out there and shoot the three. That's all he wants to do, shoot the three and then jump and block everybody's shot, which it's fine to be a shot blocker, but you can still put muscle on your body and still get blocks. Like Shaq was still blocking and the guy was like 320 playing. So you could still get blocks. It's like for me, I'm not a fan of the guy. When you're 7'2", 7'3", whatever he is, and you're sitting out on the 3-point line, I'm sorry, dude, get inside. You should be scoring at will inside. So I'm not a fan. I think Jalen Williams the next one. Obviously, for OKC for me, it's Jalen Williams. For Indiana, it's Siakam. I think those four players right there are going to make up the difference in this game. That's going to be if all four of those are playing great games and they put up their numbers, then we're going to see last second shot to win the game, and it's going to come down to the end. If a couple of those don't fall the way for either side, it could be a different. If Jalen and SGA go off and Halliburton and Siakam struggle, they're gonna win, and they'll probably win by double digits. And I think same thing goes for the other side. If SGA and Williams struggle, Siakam and Halliburton play well, Indiana will win probably by double digits. But I think, like I said, for me, I think it's a Game 7. It's the finals. I think everybody's coming to play. I think they're all four of those players are going to have a good game, which then everybody else will just kind of do their thing. It's going to come down to the end, I think. I wouldn't mind. Yeah. It's just not something people want. That's just what it is. I mean, but it's always been that way. It's always been that way. And it doesn't matter, and it doesn't even matter what sport it is. You know what I mean? It's like that in every sport. You go into baseball, and everybody wants to see the Yankees and the Mets play, or the Dodgers and the Yankees. It's the Yankees for sure. Always, they want to see the Yankees in it. You go in the NBA, they want to see the Lakers. They want to see the Celtics. If the Knicks would have made it, of course, football now, Kansas City's up. They want to see the Patriots were back then. They want to see them in it. They want to see Green Bay in the Super Bowl. The big teams like that. It just always works that way. So that's just never changed. But one thing I do want to ask, because I know I brought it up to you, but I want to see on here, and maybe people, let us know their, on our chat what they think. But for OKC, is it better for them to win this, or is it better for them to lose? Or is not better to lose, but is it better for them to win? Because do you think they'll keep their core players, or if they lose, are they going to start losing players now because they've now lost in the finals? They haven't won it. What do you think's what do you think's going to happen, win or lose, for this team? Do you think that this team still sticks together, win or lose? Do you think they make moves? What is going to happen to OKC now at the end of this, after tonight? Yeah. But do you think if they win that core stays? You don't think somebody's gonna try? You don't think some of them aren't gonna be like, "Hey, I want to get paid. I want to go. I get paid here." I mean, look what happened. We brought this up with Denver. Look at what Denver when they after they won the championship. What happened? Bruce Brown gone. The next year after that, KCP gone. They want to make their money because they're champions now, and it happens a lot. Like even in other sports, look at the Seahawks when they were the 12th man and they had all the the Legion of Boom going on. They finally won a Super Bowl, and they all just went their own separate ways because they all thought that they were the best defender. They thought it happens in these sports, right? So what happens with OKC? What if they win? How many of these guys are going to stick around? How much longer do they keep this core though? And I'm not saying, I'm saying you want to keep it. Yes, as OKC, you're thinking oh man, we could win multiple championships. But that's not the mentality of these guys anymore to stick around and win championships. It's all about, I'm better. I need to go make money now somewhere else and do it. And that's fine. You want to make money. That's all you're worried about. Fine. But that's the problem with the players now is nobody's mentality is about winning championships. It's just give me one and I'm fine. Now let me go make my money. You know what I mean? It's like the multiple championships don't mean anything anymore. Yeah. That's true. I guess the main question, the way I'm trying to put it here is, so if they win, so you're saying if they win, they probably will keep most of them, but if they lose, do you think some are gone then? So neither way, you think they keep this team no matter what? I think what OKC should, and then this is going off more if they do lose. I think what they need to do, they need to go find a veteran off the bench. They need somebody because they are so young. Even coach. The one thing that can help you, and I think you mentioned it before we talked, was coaching. Rick Carlisle's been here. Rick Carlisle is a tremendous guy. Rick Carlisle is moving himself even higher up on this poll of coaches. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. When he goes out, I mean, they should just give him, whatever, the jacket right off the bat. But for me, when you think about how young, they need somebody off the bench that's an old timer that can sit here and say, guys, when the going gets, because I think what the problem is when there's young team, when they start already getting down on each other and they get down, they can't come back up from it. They don't find a way to get back up. They're already just down and they say, screw it. And it's like you said, so the mentality is, well, we'll just get them on the next one. You can't have that mentality. You need to put people away. You need to, and if they lose tonight, they're going to look at Game 6 and think to themselves, why didn't we just go put them away in games? We should have put them away. We had it set up. There's no way we shouldn't have. They can't have that mentality. They need somebody off the bench that can come in, give them a spark, but also sit out there and say, guys, hey, we're all right. Yeah, they went on a 10-0 run, but that's fine. Let's get back out here, let it go, play the next play. That's it. They don't have that in OKC. They don't have anybody off the bench that does that. They're all young, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's like this thing is they're so good. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's no reason that Denver should have seen Game 7 against them. You probably should have swept maybe 5. There's no. I mean, who in Denver do they have to worry about other than Jokic? You know what I mean? But then this shows just this is what's so annoying about the NBA. If Jokic was so great to take him, and everybody sits there and says, well, Denver didn't have anybody, and yeah, okay, they didn't have anybody, they took him to Game 7. Jokic single-handedly took Denver to Game 7. So why is SGA the MVP then? When he's got Jalen Williams dropping 40 in a game, he's got Chet, he's got Caruso that everybody loves so much coming off the bench too. All these other great players around him, and yet Jokic is the only one nobody's in the top 75 of players in the game right now. No All-Stars. But yet SGA wins MVP? So how does that make sense? It doesn't. So this is the problem here, is we've given all this extra credit, and I get it, and SGA is getting a lot of flack from people. I get, the whole flopping thing and getting a lot of free throws and stuff. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, folks, what are you guys getting mad about? This is the NBA that you guys love to see. He's not the only one flopping. Your king is flopping. A lot of other players are flopping. It's now moving into the WNBA, too, with all this flopping. So it's starting to spread. I wouldn't be surprised if we go and watch March Madness college basketball coming up. We start seeing more kids flopping out here in college because it's okay. They're saying it's okay. So why are you guys upset that you're watching SGA go to the free throw line? This is your NBA. This is what you guys love to see, the 3 points and the flops. If you don't like it, then let's go back to where it used to be. Oh, no, we can't. No, we don't. It's too physical. What do you mean? So you can't. Make it make sense, folks. Do you guys want to watch this where these guys are flopping and shooting threes all day long, or do you want to see some physicality again? Me personally, I'd rather see some physicality again. I want to see what these players are made. I want to see people get to the bucket again. I want to see people work the inside out. Not watching a 7'3" guy shoot a 3-pointer for the whole entire game. Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's true. It is. It's not. The, s- the sports are here to stay the way that they are. But real quick, before we move on here, Mike, we got to do it. What's the prediction? What's the score tonight for you? Oh, 19-1. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm kind of in that same range here. I think I'm gonna go 110, 108, OKC. 110, 108, OKC. So I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna go with that. Let's see here, but yeah. So tune in tonight, guys. 8 Eastern. Game starts on ABC. So check it out and let's see what we can get going here, right? Yeah, for sure. Let's see. All right, hold on 1 second here. All right. Let's see. All right. So, alrighty. So moving on here, guys, we're gonna see if we wanted to talk a little bit. We haven't brought up anything about about baseball. I know we're about halfway into the season now, and things have kind of starting to get a little bit different here now. But so far, Mike, it's kind of been a little bit crazy because most people would have thought that the Yankees, Dodgers would be top, but no. As of right now, the Tigers still stand as the best team in the league overall. Is that surprising to you? And Chicago being the second best team.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Cubbies. I looked at some of the preseason prognostications and those type of things, and I know that Detroit showed flashes of this last year. I won't say it's a stunner to me. Would you have asked me at the start of the season, would Detroit be in first place? I would have said, yeah, I guess it's possible, but I wouldn't expect it. The Cubs being in first place is a little surprising to me. I do like the races overall right now as to where they currently stand. The majority of the teams per division are within striking distance of the division leader, which I think is great for basketball as you get close to the All-Star break. Obviously, the White Sox and the Rockies have, not numerically been eliminated, but they're not going anywhere. So if you step outside that box, there's a lot of teams that still have a chance to make some noise, and we can see how that plays out. I think the idea of a Tigers-Cubs World Series,
That would
I could
be,
get into
you know,
that.
I could live
easily
with
get
that.
into
I could definitely live with that. It'd be kind of crazy too because Javier Baez plays with the Tigers right now. That was his old team, was the Cubs. It'd be kind of interesting to see them play against each other in that. I'm okay with that. I'm more opposed to seeing the Yankees and the Dodgers again play each other in there. I'm tired of seeing all that. But so far, looking at it's been kind of a crazy season so far. A lot of teams look like they're playing well by the numbers. They have a terrible record. Like the Reds have been having a huge run differential with most of their teams. They'll go on a huge run, and then next thing you know, they're just getting swept 2 series in a row, right? And they're not having the best season in the world. Then you got somebody like the Yankees and the Dodgers, right? Tremendous lineups, things like that. They should be running away with this. Why are they subpar? Dodgers start off terrible, but now they're moving their way back up. Same thing with the Yankees. The Yankees, they're both flip-flop, right? Dodgers started off terrible. I mean, I wouldn't say terrible, but they just didn't start off the way that they should have. Now they're on the up and coming. Yankees were just on a tear, just running up, and now they were just been losing. They were lost 2 series in a row. I think they got swept in both series recently. They're kind of on the fallback, but they're still up there, right? I mean, they're both going to be there. They're both going to be in the playoffs. So for me, it's just been kind of weird because then that's what's kind of giving these teams, the Tigers and the Cubs, fall. Does this hurt the Dodgers and the Yankees at this point coming to the playoffs, or do you still feel like those two teams are still they're going to be there. It's not going to matter. They're going to be there easily.
I don't. I'll refer to the Yankees in a heartbeat. They have shown over the last few seasons that regardless of what their record is, when they get to, and granted they made it, they had a great season last year, but at some point they failed themselves. And you could isolate on Judge and his postseason, lack of performance or whatever. But I don't think anything says, hey, the Yankees and Dodgers are a lock. I still think there's a lot to look at, within that West Division. The Rockies, essentially the Rockies, you can discount it. They're gone. They're not going to be there. But if you look at the rest of that division right now, and even the Diamondbacks, there was a lot of preseason talk. Watch the Diamondbacks. They're a solid baseball team. The pitching staff is good. And some people were actually picking them to upset the Dodgers in the NLCS and advance to the World Series. So there's a lot to be played out here. I mean, the Cubbies are making some noise. The Tigers are making some noise. The Dodgers division with the Giants and everything else in San Diego is always a tough division.
And you're absolutely right, because looking at the standings right now, and this is just wild card as of right now. There are 7 teams within the wild card that are this. And I just talked about the Reds. The Reds are in there. They're 3 games behind being in the wild card right now. And then you got the Arizona's 2.5. San Diego's a half game back. St. Louis, Milwaukee, San Francisco all tied. Milwaukee, St. Louis tied with San Francisco and Philadelphia being the top 2 up there. So the National League, definitely insane. But also same thing. You go to the American League. This is what I'm talking about. That baseball is starting to kind of even out. It's getting a little bit different where it's not those same teams, because you got Tampa Bay and Toronto as the top 2, Boston. Seattle's a half game. Cleveland's a half game. KC's a game and a half. Texas is a game and a half. Minnesota's 2 games. The Angels are 2 games. Baltimore 6.5. Athletics 8.5, and then Chicago's obviously out. So Athletics, Chicago. I mean, they're done. Whatever it may be. Athletics. I mean, I could make a push, but I highly doubt it. But like I said, Rockies are done. Pittsburgh's done. But this is more of what I enjoy about baseball.
It helps.
When everybody when the teams are just all out there playing well. It's not just this team's run away with this team, the Dodgers, Yankees, we're going to see them in the championship. Would it be? I love this. I love that Detroit and Chicago are at the top of the list right now, rather than seeing the Yankees and the Dodgers. Even the Giants, they always make their way out there. I love what we're seeing right now. I want to see these teams. I want to see it be. I would love to be able to look at this and say, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a Cubs, Phillies, National League and a Tigers and maybe Astros or something like that, or who else? Maybe the Rays can make a push for it, and see that in the American League. I just don't want to see another Yankees Dodgers World Series. I'm tired of it. And I get it, but this goes back to what we said. If it happens that way, ratings through the roof, right?
Yeah.
But if you go and see, like you said, a Tigers and but maybe this is the difference. We're seeing OKC. We just talked about this. We're just seeing OKC in Indiana. And maybe we get to see a Tigers Cubs World Series. Not people may not like it, but it'd be better to see than going back and watching another Yankees and Dodgers World Series.
Yeah, and what amazes me too, but and again, we could talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers and all the consistency and the history and stuff like that throughout history. But there's a team here, and you mentioned them just a second ago, and I was going to bring them up, and it's not so much just about what they have as a talent base. It amazes me. It really does. And granted, the division itself in the AL West is not great right now. Every team is, I won't say they're struggling to stay above 500, but
Yeah, I think
for the most part. But the team that is in first place,
Houston
Astros. You like them, you don't like them. They cheated, they didn't cheat. I get it, but I will say this about the Houston Astros organization: whether you like them or you don't, they managed to be consistent, and they managed to remain competitive, win divisions, get to the World Series win titles. This organization from top to bottom, manager, assistant coaches, players, ownership, they're doing something right.
Well, and that's the problem. And here's the thing: is fine if you want to say that cheated that year, fine. They won another one after.
They did, and they're
So, and they're so you still think they're cheating? I mean, they've been, you know, damn well, they were watched and watched and watched and
and
watched,
still are being watched. You
and
know
they
are.
and they still pulled it out. So,
Yeah.
fine, whatever you want to say about them, that's fine. Do what you want, but you're spot on with it. Houston still finds a way to keep winning, keep doing what they need to do. They're a great organization. And yes, they're 44 and 33. Seattle's
And they're not
38
big
and 37 behind them. They're
And
not.
they're not big market.
So I mean, I get it. I mean, even they could make a push. They could win another one. You know, I mean, that's the great thing about baseball is it's not always, you know, it's sometimes, yes, we do see these main teams all the time, this and that. But for me, when I think about going on the other side is, why aren't the Yankees and Dodgers though just dismantling everybody? Why are they not far above everybody else? Why are they sitting at, where are they both at right overall? Yankees are, well, Dodgers are third and Yankees are
13 games above
6.
500.
So the Dodgers are in third place and the Yankees are in sixth place overall in the whole major league. Why are they both not 1 and 2 right now and just blowing away everybody with the rosters they have, the lineups they have, everything? I mean, and the Dodgers are, I think, better even on both ends with rotation and lineup. Yankees rotation can be a little bit sometimes, but they can also, I mean, they can also blow you away with that rotation. They're just back and forth. But the lineup is insane in New York. So why are these two teams not blowing these teams away like that?
Is it? If you said and looked at it, but aren't the Yankees and the Dodgers sort of like this interesting dynamic? One side speaks to the idea that you can invest all this money you want and it doesn't get you anything. But the other
Exactly.
side is, well, you can invest all the money you want and it'll get you a championship.
Yeah.
So there's like no middle ground with these two.
But,
and
but
yet,
is it maybe more of like we just said like the OKC mentality where it's like we'll just get them on next? Do they just
think it
think that
is.
maybe
I think it is.
they're just like we can just coast to the playoffs and then we'll just kick it into gear and start
I
going?
think it is, bud. I really do.
But I think that
it was
hurts you.
evident
Why
last
why
year.
wouldn't you just want to play out? Why wouldn't you want to play hard every single game? That's the thing I don't get. This is where we talk about, folks, why we've changed our name to the Anger Manager Podcast, why we talk about sports the way we do, because this is what angers us. Why would you not play every single game to the best of your ability? I don't care, and I've heard people be mad. They still think that the MLB season should be cut shorter, and so what? It's 162 games. Why would you make millions to play the game? Why shouldn't you go out there every single day and play as hard as you're supposed to?
Yeah,
Why?
and it's not that I don't know. For me, I've always thought if you could win your division by 50 games, but so it's going to look a lot better than winning it by 40 games. My whole point, folks, is that why not bury the competition?
Yeah,
I mean, you're establishing something. You're potentially setting a record. Whether it's wins or it's ERA for the entire season. There's things that you can accomplish. Like Anthony's talking about, you should be motivated to have the lowest ERA in history. You should be motivated as a team to have the most home runs in history. These should be things that you not only as a World Series, opportunity. If you're that great, aren't you why are you not motivated as a pitching staff to everybody have 20 wins or there should be constant motivation to set records every single season as a team.
Both of those teams have at least 2 to 3 guys you could take from their lineup, put them in other teams, and they would be the best player in those teams.
Yeah.
The Rockies would be happy to take 2 or 3 guys from each of those rosters to put them on theirs so that they could be better. The White Sox would be happy to take a pitcher, pitcher or two from the Dodgers and the Yankees each, and put them on their roster. So
the Rockies-
you guys have literally created super teams to just be okay right now. Why?
I say, you know, and we use you could use the Rockies and White Sox as an example. These are players that they really struggle to motivate because they don't have organizations that are motivated to win.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to justify an athlete going out there and just quitting and saying, you know, I mean, I joke about it sometimes, but ultimately, if you want to wind up playing for a better team, you better go out there and perform because they're not going to want you if you don't.
Yeah.
But the Rockies as a team and the White Sox as a team, they don't have anything telling them from ownership to anything else that we should go out and motivate to win. So records aren't going to be there for us except the bad ones, you know.
You're right.
But these teams, like Anthony just said, you're a super team. You were put together to win championships. But if you're in the process of being put together to win a championship, you should also be in the process of setting records left and right. That should be there available to you, whether it happens or not. You should be striving for this. I want to beat second place, you know, whoever. If I'm the Dodgers, I want to beat second place San Francisco. By the time that season's up, I want to be 35 games in front of second place. I want the record books to say that this Dodger team was that dominant, or this Yankee
I
team
agree.
was that dominant. Like Bud's saying, your talent is there, so why aren't the numbers there? Why are you not motivated for this?
That's why I said it goes back to what we said. The games are changing.
Yeah,
It's a different era. Maybe these guys just realize that we are that good. We'll kick it in when we need to. Like, we don't want to burn ourselves out through 162 games, so we'll just coast to get where we need to be.
I mean, imagine.
But then there's teams like the Tigers, like the Mariners, like these other teams, the Cubs. They have to play great every single day to stay where they're at. They don't have the chance to be able to say, oh, we can take a series off here and a series off there. No, they need to keep winning. They want to keep that momentum. They want to fight hard and play. They don't have the teams that you guys have to put together to do these things, to sit there and coast it out. And this is the part that sucks.
We don't have a bullpen that those guys in the bullpen could be in your starting five rotation on some of these.
It's ridiculous.
But they're in your bullpen.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but so we'll see. But getting back, you know, like I said, hopefully it'll change up a little bit here. Things are looking good so far. I would say for Major League Baseball, it's a lot better than That's what I like. But Mike, I want to jump back real quick to the finals, Game 7. I noticed something on here. I think I had some audio issues with yours. But I want everybody to kind of, again, can you just throw out what your score was and who you have winning tonight for the game?
Yeah, I had it. I think basically about I thought anyway, but like 119, 107.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted everybody to make sure they heard that. I think we had some audio issues or the earlier ones, so I just want to make sure that everybody heard what yours were on there for that. But like I said, for baseball, I like what I'm seeing. I like the balance. I want to hopefully keep it this way. I hope, like I said, it's not one of those things like where we're right and come back after All-Star break and stuff. Those two teams kick it into gear, and then it just kind of ruins it for everybody. But I'm gonna keep a closer eye on it. I'm gonna keep watching these other teams that are trying to make the push there, and hope we get to see a pretty good playoff series for sure going into it. But we're gonna definitely talk more. We'll get more into baseball and things like that as it gets a little bit deeper. And it's rough for us guys. Sports for us are harder to sit down and watch more of with the way, and you guys have noticed that the way we've talked about it, the way we've brought up the way that the game's played now, it makes it harder to enjoy the game and things like that. I was able to I used to be able to probably say watch probably 1 to 2 games a week of baseball, well, 2, maybe even more, maybe 3 to 4 games a week of baseball. I'm lucky if I catch 1 to 2 games a month of baseball anymore. Yeah. Even in that, and going into basketball, barely watched maybe before the playoffs. I maybe watched like 1 to 2 games, full games of a whole season. Getting into the playoffs, obviously, I did watch a little bit more. I probably will catch most of this finals tonight. I want to, just to kind of see how this goes, because I'm pretty interested to see how this game goes. I'm not a fan of either two teams. I don't hate either two teams, so it's kind of just one of those finals game 7 where you just sit back and enjoy and just say whoever comes out, you're okay with it. So, but for us, it is hard to watch the game more. I do want to try to, now that you look at everything now and kind of balancing out more. I hope, like we said, we're in more of a balanced time period for baseball, rather than just seeing two teams just take over the league. I hope that's where we're at with it.
Yeah, well, and again, to Anthony's point, it'll never change going forward because of the financial impact. I mean, teams now are selling for billions of dollars, but we all know right now what the Lakers just recently sold for. So when that kind of money is being tossed around, the people with all the money can afford to buy all the players, or at least they can certainly make an attempt to do it, unless you got regulations there that sort of help stem that type of situation.
Yeah.
You get the Dodgers, you get the Yankees, and it becomes so repetitive that at least for myself and Anthony, you start to lose interest because it's the same thing every year. I mean, I was a big Cincinnati Red fan when I was growing up. I mean, that'd be great if the Rockies were a successful baseball team, but even Anthony would tell you he loves the Rockies. He's a diehard. He roots for. He doesn't care if they're winning 12 games or 122 games. He'll root for them. He'll watch them occasionally. But Anthony would be honest enough to tell you that if the Rockies were winning, had gone to the World Series 13 years in a row, he'd say, yeah, it's cool, I love it, but I'm for somebody else getting in there. It becomes kind of stale. And I know that old adage, if you don't like it, then beat them, but you can't, because it's not like it was in the 70s and the 60s.
Well, here's the thing then. The other thing is in baseball, that doesn't work, because here's the problem. There's no salary cap in baseball.
It's the problem.
You're based off, you all get different types of budgets based off where you're from. So it's not like the NFL, you got a salary cap. The NBA's got a salary cap. Why is there not a salary cap in the MLB? You need to put a salary cap in this. This is why the game is also as bad as it is, and why these players go to these areas. Because I know I can get paid. You start looking good and the Yankees start looking at you, great, I'm going to get paid. They have all the money. The Dodgers are looking at me. Great. I can get paid. It doesn't matter if I'm good. They're looking at me. They want me. I am going there because I know I can make money. They have the money to pay me. Whereas, yeah, the Rockies, the Royals, somebody in those markets, Seattle saying, hey, we're looking at you. You want to come here? Well, how much can you pay me? What are you looking at? Oh, I want to make $100 million. Well, I can maybe give you 60. Nah. I'm out. I'm going to LA. I'm going to LA. Look at Soto. Yeah. Soto leaves the Yankees. You left New York. You left the Yankees to go to the Mets. And you're trash, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to say, he is off. I just seen a video of this guy running the bases and looking like he's playing T-ball out there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a fly ball. Nimmo hits a fly ball. He takes off running. And so, without paying attention to whether it's caught or not, the ball is caught at the fence. He's trying to come back around, but he's like barely in second. He's already run out of the base path. Nimmo's passed him up, so he's already out. And it's like, you're making how much? 300, 400, 500 million, 600 million? And you don't know how to run the base. You can't freeze and look. You can't look at your base coach. You're getting thrown out on a fly ball out, and you're making that much money for that team. What is his stats this year? I would like to know what his stats are this year. I'm going to look this up because this is ridiculous. If this guy isn't batting over 300 and stuff, I'm about to lose it, because I'm sick and tired of this guy.
You know what's sad with the athletes as a whole, and I watched Pittsburgh Pirates.
He's batting 256.
256.
256 on the year with 16 home runs and 41 RBIs.
And that's not the only thing. He's unhappy. He's unhappy with his $700 or $800 million contract. He's unhappy.
53 strikeouts this year.
And he's unhappy. And that goes back to the problem we're talking about, folks, is that, so the Yankees or the Dodgers offer you a contract, you're going to bail on Milwaukee, you're going to bail on Kansas City, you're going to bail on Colorado. It doesn't matter because they can't compete with you. Every once in a blue moon, a team rises up and they manage to get past the Yankees, they get past the Dodgers, and they either get to the championship or they win it. But it's not sustainable because that team doesn't have the finances to maintain that. And so the Dodgers and Yankees, they just reload.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They reload.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how you can bat 250 and make that much money.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. You get out.
They don't care.
You're always getting out. 256. You're making what did he sign? 700 million, was it? 600 million? I don't know. What was it? 500 million to bat 256 for your team. You can't get 270. Give me 270, 275 at least. I don't get that.
The worst thing that could ever happen to an athlete is it's not even an injury, not really. You know what the worst thing that can happen to an athlete is, but they get money and they become complacent.
Right.
And they don't care anymore. And that's why, when you've got two players on the Yankees rosters that combined make over $1 billion between the two, $1 billion between two players. And then not one Yankee makes less, I believe, right now than $800,000 or $900,000 a year, maybe even $1 million.
So here's where you can tell. Here's where you can tell, folks, where money makes a difference. Yeah. Whether these players. So for a career, I'm gonna give him his flowers. Juan Soto for a career bats 283. That's great. That's great for a career. Yeah. But year one, so this is rookie, right? Year one, 292, great. 282, terrific. 2018, 292, 2019, 282. Per year 2020, 351, he batted. Tremendous, okay? Fine, whatever. He that's what he bought. I mean, I know that 2020 was COVID, so they didn't play, but you still batted 351. That's terrific. 2021, 313. Great. He's still with. So there's your contracts. Get paid. 2022, 246. Yeah. 2022, he batted 246 for Washington. Goes to San Diego. 236 he bats for San Diego. Finishes off the season at 242 between the two teams. Goes to next year to San Diego, 275. That's okay. It's still lower than what you were doing at first, but you got it higher, fine. Last year he batted 288 with the Yankees. So far this year he's batting 256. You can see where you got your money and you decided, boom, now you need to get paid again. What did you do? Your batting average went back up. You got paid to go to the Mets. Now you're back down. This is what money does to people, folks. You were a tremendous ball player. You got paid. Screw it.
Don't care.
Don't
care about Gold Gloves. I don't care about championships.
I'm sorry. How many rings does Soto have?
That's exactly it. And the sad thing is, he won't care. Ultimately, he'll say all the things you're supposed to say, and all that. But the bottom line is, he walks away with more money than he'll ever use, or maybe he'll go broke. I don't know. Athletes don't seem to have the ability to manage their money, but he has enough money right now that he'll never have to care about when.
Here's the thing. I can get it if, like, say, your average rolled over from year to year, right? You didn't start off with a clean slate, so maybe you had a rough start to your career and you batted 230 and you're just trying to work your way back up because it rolls over every year. Every year you start off with a clean slate, you're 0 for 0.
Yeah.
So that means you're just playing like crap when you go that bat. And see what's his strike. I want to see his strikeouts too, because I know he's terrible when it comes to strikeouts. So I wonder if it shows me on here.
But
Of course, it's not going to tell me his. Oh yeah, he had. So let's see, strikeouts. 2019, he had 132 strike. The last 2 seasons, he had 129 and 119 strikeouts.
And this is the guy you're giving all that money to.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, and that's what you're doing. And see, here's my other
749 strikeouts for his career. You know what? I'm gonna do this because I want to see where he's at. 700. Hold
So
on.
when you make this kind of money, and and granted, baseball is out of control. Football is starting to get there. Basketball is out of control, and hockey's remained relatively consistent. But so with these sports, why with the money you're being given for a contract, for a flat contract, why is it necessary to include incentives?
Okay.
Why
I
is
don't
the
know.
incentive not to win?
You're right. You're right.
That should be the only incentive.
I agree.
How about this?
Let me
How
put this
about
in.
this? Your incentive is the only one we give you is if this team reaches the team reaches so many more wins, and I get there's a lot of intangibles here. Then we'll reward you for helping the team win, not you, not you and 40 more at bats or 40 more hits.
Well, here I'm going to put this in perspective, and the reason I'm using this guy because you guys want to pay Soto. You guys think Soto's a top 5 player in the league, whatever. He got paid his money to be basically what they consider an all-star, a possible Hall of Famer, superstar, whatever it may be. Tony Gwynn played 20 years. 20 years he played. Okay? So this is 20 seasons for his career. 434 strikeouts. In 20 seasons. Soto's played 8 years. He's at 734, whatever it was. His batting average, okay? We just said Soto's at 283. That's fine. That's good. But for 20 years, Tony Gwynn batted 338.
Well, I'd add something else to that, but it takes
20 years.
How many games? I would go so far as to say I'll bet you Tony Gwynn has missed fewer games in his entire career than Soto has missed in his brief career.
So far, Gwynn's played in 2,400 games, 2,440, and let's see here, 10-12 so far. He's played 8 years. He's played 10. He's played in 1,012 games.
Yeah.
So.
But
and the thing is Soto's not going to play 20 years.
Not going to play 20 years. Doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. He doesn't
I
care.
mean, I will give him this. He does play. I mean, he played 162 games in 2023, 157 games in 2024, 153 games in 2022, 151 in 2021, 150 in 2019. So he does play. It's just he just doesn't do well when he goes up to the plate all the time.
But
He's literally a home run or strikeout. That's what he is. You paid, and he's not a great defender. Don't get me started with his defense. He's not a great defender. He's lazy on top of that, too, because he got paid. So he's a lazy ball player. So what you're paying for is a body in the outfield and a home run occasionally, or you're going to watch him strike out. Good job, Mets. Good job. Terrific.
Yeah, and you're not going to win a championship with him. I bet you money.
And you know what? The Yankees are sitting there laughing like, yeah, take him. Go ahead. We don't need that. We're still better. Because I mean, it doesn't show maybe in the standings, but the Yankees are better than the Mets. I will give them that. I think the Yankees are a better team than the Mets.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, when we go back to you're paying all these players this exorbitant amount of money and these ridiculous salaries, and sometimes the 90% of your salary, 70% or 80% of your salary is allocated to one, two, maybe three ball players, and you divvy up the rest. And the Milwaukee's of the world and the Kansas City's of the world, they've got one player, maybe two, that have really good contracts. I'm talking really good contracts. But like you said earlier, Bud, I mean, without a salary cap, it can't change. It can't change.
Well, and then even think about even I'm talking about Soto, and but I can bring another. Pete Alonso plays for the Mets. He strikes out more than Soto. He's at 75 strikeouts this year so far to Soto's 53. But he leads the team in average. He bats .294, 18 home runs, 64 RBIs. So just because he's also another one. He can strike out a lot of but he still hits for average, which means yes, he will strike out at times. Maybe and those strikeouts probably come when he's trying to go for the long ball, trying to do something extra. But when he needs to, he comes through with a hit. That's why he's batting .294. Soto, you're going up and you're just getting out every time you come up almost. All the time. There's no reason he should not be batting in the 275 or higher mark. Now, granted, you could sit here and tell me, oh, well, the season's not over. Fine. Come to me at the end of the season. Let me see if he's batting 275 or higher.
Yeah.
Then you can come tell me. I can guarantee you, though, on this team, he won't be higher than 260.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he'll be higher than 260.
Yeah, like I said, and he's publicly stated that he's unhappy. And I'm sorry,
What does he? What do you want?
What is so challenging? What is so challenging about your life that in the contract
you just got paid?
That you're not happy.
You just got paid.
Yeah, and
you got paid all that money, and you're not even the best player on the team.
And
how does that work? You're not. You just got paid the most money. You could probably take 10 to 15 guys, put them all together, and that's your salary. And you're not the best player on the team?
I'll tell you what, bud, and again, we go back to, I watched this new league last weekend, this new women's softball league.
Yeah.
I talked to you and your dad about this briefly. And I think it's 8 teams. They play a total of 16 games each or something like that. Anyway, they'll play other 8 teams. They'll play the other 8 teams like 8 times total, something like that. But I watched one game and I just thought to myself, look at this. And I can't remember the teams that were playing, folks. It's a relatively brand new league, and they travel. They're not. These games aren't taking place in their home cities, but they represent certain cities. But they're just traveling because they're trying to generate interest in the league just to get it established. And I'm watching this, and I was talking to Anthony, and we were texting, and I was texting with him and his dad. And his dad is a massive enthusiast of softball. Anthony loves it too. I enjoy it. I don't know as much as they do, but I enjoy and I can appreciate what the ladies do. They're very competitive. They're terrific ball players. But I watched this, and yet this particular series, and this was, I think it was in, I don't know, Louisiana or something like that. But the 3-game series was sold out. Sold out. And we're not talking about Yankee Stadium. We're talking about, it's a softball event. But it was sold out, all 3 events.
Yeah.
Not just them, it was other teams. But it was great. It was great sport. The ladies were competitive, power hitters, girls coming in from college that have established themselves as great ball players. But this is what they're doing. And
but that's because those players go out there to play for the love of the game.
That's
They're not
exactly
going out there to make a $100 to $200 million salary.
Yeah, they're literally, like Anthony just said, folks, they're playing because, they want to continue doing what they love because softball didn't have anywhere to go.
Well, after college, it was just, okay, my career's over.
Yeah, and some
that's
girls,
and some of them make like the U.S. team or something and move on that way, but not all of them. So this is a
Yeah.
great opportunity for them to still play professionally and still show what they can do out there. And it's great. I totally agree with you. And that's why it makes sports like that more fun to watch. I mean, weren't we just doing... Remember the other... I mean, we were watching... Well, I think it was Game 5. Remember, we were talking about Game 5. But instead, my dad brought up, and we even started turning... I turned it on. We were watching pillow fights on ESPN. on one of the off-brand ESPN ones. They were doing pillow fight. And that was more exciting than watching Game 5 of the NBA Finals. That's more fun than watching an MLB game that I'm sure I could... It was like a weekend. I'm sure I could have went on to extra innings and found 20 games to watch, right? Sorry, 10 games to watch throughout the morning rather than... But I turned on pillow fighting. And it was fun. It was fun to watch. It's funny, but it's also fun. Just like going and putting on college softball. Professional softball. Because they're out there, because they're just doing it because they want to. It's fun. They enjoy it. They're not out there because those guys aren't swinging a pillow for $200 million. No, they're just out there just messing around, having fun. Yeah, you're going to get some benefit from it. You get a little check there for winning something. But not what these guys are making. For them to just sit there and do what they do and not give it all every single day that they're out there. It's ridiculous.
And those girls in that new softball league, and to the MLB's credit, they're helping support the league and promote it and those type of things. But those girls, when the season's over, and for some that don't make it to their respective championship, their season will end. Those girls, those ladies, a lot of them will have to have jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll have to go do something. It's not that they don't have the money to live off of for the entire season.
There's no off season. There's no off season.
So they're, like Anthony said, this is about playing because you love the sport, and this is why I was a huge fan. I was a huge proponent of the WNBA when it first started, and I still think it's a great sport. The girls are talented, all that stuff. But folks, I'm telling you, and Anthony knows this, if you watch this sport, if you are even remotely interested in the WNBA and you followed it from its inception or maybe the last 10 years, I'm telling you right now, you can slowly but surely see the attitude and the financial expectations start to trickle down into the WNBA and the women that occupy this. Now they want their and I'm telling you, it's literally going to head straight down the same path.
And I'm all for them getting paid too.
Yes.
There just has to be a correct way to go about it. And like you said, there's certain players that they're trying to do what they can the right way to get paid, but then you have others that are just going out there and making themselves look stupid and demanding things or saying dumb things to try to get it. And it's like, no. Your time will come, but you gotta let it. You have to let it come to you. You have to. Like WNBA, the reason they didn't get paid is because nobody watched them. They weren't seen. If you guys are now you're getting shown on ESPN a lot when your season starts.
Television ratings.
Yes, people are now paying attention. People are buying tickets to go watch these games now. It's not just on TV. They're buying everything. Yes, apparel. They're buying tickets. They're season tickets on top of that. Not just one. They're buying season. Your time will come. This is where it starts, though. They can't just sit here and just say, we need to get paid this much. Yes, you guys will get paid, but you can't do it. You have to bring the funds in to get your funds. You know what I mean? And this is where it starts. And I don't care if you're an Angel Reese fan. I don't care if you're a Caitlyn fan. I don't care if you're not a fan of any of theirs and you don't think that... the WNBA has made a name for itself. And it's from everybody. I'm not going to sit here and say it's only from Caitlyn. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not from Angel. I'm not going to sit here and say... All of these women have put... Because here's the thing. People could talk about, oh yeah, Caitlyn Clark brought everybody in. Okay, but did she win the finals? Angel Reese is the reason. Okay, but did she make it to the finals and win it all? No. There's other players in this league, folks. Stop worrying. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Caitlyn. I'm not trying to take away anything from Angel, but there are other players in this league. You have your Breanna Stewart. You have your Asia Wilsons. These are top tier players in the league.
Yeah.
Don't just worry about what you see on social media with the Clark and Reese feud to get into the WNBA. No, don't do that. Go watch all of them play. There's a lot of players in the WNBA that make a difference, that are great ball players out there on the court. Those two are not just the only reason that the WNBA is where they're at. Okay? There are other players out there. Now, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have both done great for their own teams. Angel is the best player in Chicago. Caitlin is the best player in Indiana. They are both doing things for their own team, but they're not the best teams in the league. By far are they the best teams in the league right now. That's why they didn't win anything last year.
Yep.
There's other teams out there. So go and watch those other teams and you'll understand why. And ladies, I'm telling you, let it come. Give it another... The way you guys are trending, in the next 5 years, you guys will get paid. Trust me. And I know some of these other ones that are on their way out, you don't want to hear that. I'm sorry. Jump on with the team. Become a coach. You're going to get paid there too. Stick with the game then. I understand but you have to get the funds in before you can get them dispersed out to you. And this is how it's going to happen. People are starting to watch. But in 5 years, you women will get paid. You will. I guarantee it. If it keeps trending the way it is, and just keep playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, the way you guys are right now, keep showing out, you'll get there. It's going to come.
Yeah, but don't adapt all the NBA ridiculousness. Try to put aside the fighting and all this crap and the showboating and stuff like that. Approach the game from a competitive standpoint, a class standpoint. And that's one of the things I always enjoyed about the WNBA, folks, is when they first started, they were the exact opposite. There weren't the fights. It was about playing to win. And that type of thing.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, we're seeing this transition into the.
I think it's still like that. Like I said, it's just because social media now, they just show. That's what they show. They just show that stuff. They don't show the highlights of the other games where they're not fighting, where these teams are actually battling it out. They just show the fighting now. They just show all the anger and stuff like that. They don't show the extra stuff. But that's on them. That's on the girls playing the game. Why? Well, why are they only showing? Because you guys do that on the court. So of course, now that social media is here, that's all they're gonna watch. They're not worried. Nobody knows who won that game against the Fever and the Sun. They just know that there was a fight. Sophia Cunningham coming in and taking out, I forget the girl that fouled Caitlin, but they know there's a foul against Caitlin. They knew that Caitlin goes and hard fouled Reese, but what was the final score? I don't know. I don't even know who won the game. I just seen the foul.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, nobody's paying attention to the game because you guys allow it to be this way. Do you know how many guys get just beat up? Even we talk about not being a physical NBA, okay? But there's guys that do go to the rack, boom, get hit, come down. Do you see them jumping up every single time they get hit and knocked to the ground and ready to fight? No, it gets built up, of course. It does get built up, if it's like a series, yes, because I played this team for 7 games and tensions are flaring, it's the conference, fine. But in a regular season game, you get knocked down because you're going up for a layup, it's a hard foul. Nah, I get it, man. They didn't want me to score. You're taking me to the line. Okay, get up, let me go to the free throw line. But the women are different. Boom, you barely get hit, and it's like, whoa, what's your problem? What's going on? It's a foul. It is basketball, ladies. It still is basketball. You still got a foul. You don't want somebody to get an easy basket and one, especially if they know that you're a great free thrower. Caitlin, you're a tremendous free throw shooter. You shoot 90% from the free throw line. You're going up for a layup. I'm gonna try to make sure that ball doesn't get anywhere close to the basket because you're money.
Yep.
So what? Now you come and I'm going to the basket. You grab my neck and throw me down, or I'm okay. Yes, we got a problem. That's uncalled for. Yeah. But a hard foul to the back, Angel Reese, you get jumping up for what? It's a hard foul. You're a terrible free throw shooter. Yes, we're gonna put you on the line to shoot 2 rather than 1 and get a 3-point play.
Yeah.
That's the problem is, and then they worry. Well, that's they're only seeing the bad stuff because you guys only show the bad. You guys are out there fighting.
Yeah.
Just play the game.
I like to see, I don't want so much the theater of the game, and by that I'm talking about the dramatics of the fights and sometimes the stupidity. I did like seeing that, Caitlin's teammate would have her back,
Oh, and you have to have that, of course. That in that sense, yes, you need to have your teammates back. Yes, I 100% agree. But and that's a different situation because that right there, I feel like was a targeted play on Caitlin. She was targeted to get fouled, so you send a message. But after that, but we all know that. This happens. This has happened in the NBA. Other players have talked about this. I've sent a message to somebody else before the game. Okay, message sent. Let's go back to playing. No, they have to keep drowning it. Keep it going. Keep the fight going. No, you don't. All right, I get it. I'll leave her alone. Cool, we're good.
Yeah.
I got mine in. You got yours in. All right, let's just move our own ways. Let's finish the game. But no, they have to keep it going on, and that's the part I don't get. And I don't know. I mean, because most people would sit there and maybe say, oh, well, that's just a winner's mentality or competitiveness. That's not competitiveness. That's just that's just keeping on the drama. Competitiveness is, okay, hit me like that. All right, I'm going to come back and drop one in your face. I'm going to go off, in this quarter for, 12 or 14 in this quarter. We're going to go on a 14-0 run. You guys are going to lose this game. That's competitiveness, and that's the mentality of having it. Not, all right, when you come back down, I'm going to clock you again and take you out. Because that's what it just seems like. It keeps going back and forth. They can't let it go after it's already happened. Okay, well, when I come back down, I'm going to hit you again. Well, I'm going to come back down, I'm going to hit you again. It just goes back and forth, and it never stops.
And I think too that's where a player like Caitlin has, to some extent, she's risen above that because she experienced a lot of these types of cheap shots through a lot of different games. She could retaliate. She typically doesn't. It's just come back like you just said. She retaliates by hitting you where it hurts most, and that's with a basket.
But here's my thing, okay? I mean, I'm going to say this, but I'm a huge Caitlin Clark. Let me say this, I love Caitlin Clark. I've been a huge fan of her. I always have. But I want her to acknowledge some of it. Because, yes, she chirps, though. She says a lot. She does a lot of actions. But then when it comes down to somebody talking to her or bringing it up to her or getting in her face about it, no. You need to stand on your own 10. You need to stand on all 10 toes and be in there and say, well, what? Caitlin, you're great. You can back up your play. You can knock down a half-court shot on these women in their face. When you want to, you can get to the bucket and score. So if you don't want to get hit anymore, you don't want to get these fouls, then stop talking. Yeah. If you're going to keep talking and you're going to keep right in front of their faces, then you have to understand that it's going to come back at you.
Yeah.
They're not going to let that fly anymore. So you can't see. That's what it seems like for me. For her, when I watch her, is she loves to chitter and chat and talk all her crap, but then when somebody else comes after her, now it's her team's job to take care of her business. And I don't like that.
And that is a great point. But at some point she does. She's obviously got those Michael Jordan comparisons. And you and I both know, and your dad and I saw this when he first came into the league, and as he progressed, Jordan was a guy that, if you did take those cheap shots, he could hurt you two ways. He could either hurt you with his shot or his ability, or he was willing to get in your face and stand his ground. And against the bigger dudes in the league, he wasn't afraid to go toe to toe with Charles Oakley. It didn't matter. At some point, like you said, for the progression of her game, she's going to have to, first of all, minimize the chirping, stand your ground, as you said, and if somebody wants to get in your face, get right back. Because it'll continue for the rest of your career if you don't.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you're going to chirp like that, then be ready to, back it up. Because they're going to keep coming at you with it. And you can't ultimately have your teammates defending your honor, so to speak, every time it happens. You got to stand your ground.
I agree.
Can't be forcer all the time. So that's a great point, bud.
No, for sure. I agree. Well, so we'll kind of move on with this. We got a little bit more into the basketball and all this WNBA stuff more than we wanted to, but we just kind of we were just going to try to get a little little bit into some football, guys. We haven't talked in it at all. Obviously, since the draft and other things going on. Mike, obviously, I don't think we've even talked since now that Rodgers is a Steeler. What do you think?
I don't.
Does he make a difference?
It makes a difference.
I think we
solely
did
based
talk about
on-
this a little bit because I don't think he had signed yet, but I think we had talked about a little bit about the Steelers and what he does because I think, remember I said on here that Tomlin was going to, this would be his first year not being above 500 if they got him, and now he's there. I think this was before we talked about before he signed. So now that he is there, I mean it's championship or bust, right? Because Rodgers has only got maybe a year left or so. Pittsburgh's championship or bust. There's no way around. If you don't win this year, it's done, right?
And it's not that it's his fault per se, but Rodgers is going to be ultimately probably the reason that Tomlin's let go. Because
That's what I said.
I don't think they're going to have a winning season, and he's only the. I get that he's Aaron Rodgers, but the only reason he is anything at all with that team is because your backup is Mason Rudolph, and the other kid, is a rookie, and you can't expect much anyway. Aaron Rodgers should have stepped down a couple of years ago. There's just, you and I have talked about this off camera, and neither one of us are particularly impressed with his body of work. Is he a Hall of Famer? Of course he is. Is he a great quarterback? Yes. Is he a top 10 quarterback? I'd probably fight that or argue that with anybody at any time that he's a top 10 all time. I'm sorry, that's
well. Here's the problem for Rodgers is there's a lot of newcomers that are coming that have made their way up. I mean, you want to be top 10, but yet you already have your top 5 that are solidified in there with your Jacksons, Burrows, Allens, Mahomes, Hurts. Then, so those are those guys. Then you got to add in the guys that are up and coming. There's Stroud, Jaden Daniels. Herbert is another one. Dak, if he finds a way to come back, and play well, he can be top 10, right? You got Goff. So those are 10 right there. So where do you have room for Rodgers in Pittsburgh? We don't even know what he's going to be like in Pittsburgh. We know what these 10 that I just mentioned are. We know what Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, and Hurts are going to do. We already know what kind of player Jaden Daniels is. We know what Stroud, Goff, Dak. Yeah. We know what Herbert. We know all 10 of these guys that I just mentioned. We know what they can do. We know what they are. They're still with their teams. So what does Aaron Rodgers do to the Steelers to make them any better than those 10 teams that I just mentioned?
Yeah, when you've got 2 quarterbacks in your own division, in Burrows and Jackson, that are, like you just said, bud, they're top 5, top 4, maybe top 3. I don't know. It depends on your perspective. But and it doesn't matter to me that you've got DJ Metcalf to throw to because Metcalf's on the back end of his career. Yeah. But the problem here is that Rodgers isn't going to be able to play all 17 games. He's not going to be able to do that.
I agree.
Happen. It won't.
I totally agree with you. And even
it's not saving anything.
And even staying, you mentioned, obviously Burrow, Jackson in that division with him, and not to mention, even sticking in that division. Let's go into Cleveland. Shedeur, obviously, we seen that he was pulled over, speeding, things like that. That even Cleveland now with their quarterback situation, does Shedeur? We haven't talked a lot about him yet, but does he start? Is he starting?
I still think it's going to be Flacco.
See, because and what Cleveland also got, was it Gabriel? Was that the other one that they got from Oregon? Was that the other? Or who was the other one that they drafted? I thought it was Gabriel. I could be wrong.
They have 5 quarterbacks on this roster. 5.
No, I know, and I thought Gabriel was one of them. I might be wrong. I'm going to check this because I don't want to be. They did draft Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
And then, Kenny Pickett was the other one because I knew Watson and Flacco, obviously with them. I forgot Pickett was the other one. He said 5. I thought I didn't know who I was missing. But so you don't think that Shedeur stands any chance of starting in this lineup?
You mean
Like being no, I'm saying
Now,
do the
if you're
start
asking
before.
me to start the
I'm saying start the season. Why?
The ability is there's nothing there that tells me,
But okay, well, let me ask you this question: where do you think? I mean, this is still early, but what do you have the Browns finish at? Where do you think they're going to finish this year?
even if Joe Flacco played the entire season, right? Well, I'll put it to you this way: regardless of who they have as their starting quarterback, and let's say that individual plays all 17 games, no injuries, nothing. The best outlook I see, regardless of whether it's Sanders, it's Flacco, or it's Pickens, or whatever, the best number of wins I see for Cleveland would be 6.
So then why not just start him? If Flacco's not even Deshaun or Flacco is not even an option to get you even close to the playoffs, make a run for the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you start Gabriel or Shedeur then? Why not?
If you're asking about Sanders, I say this.
Either of them. I don't care if it's Sanders or Gabe. They're both rookies coming in. Why wouldn't you just, if you realize that this team is not good enough to even be a playoff team, you said 6, that's not playoff. So why not just, why put in what is he, 40, why put in a 40-year-old Flacco then? What's the point?
Because I think Pickens has shown a lot of struggles in his career.
I'm sorry, Kenny Pickett. I think Pickett shouldn't even be in this. I mean, I don't think he's even be on this roster. He shouldn't be on. Pickett, I think, is 5th. If you're talking about those 5, Pickett's last on my list. He's going to get dropped. You're keeping Flacco. You're keeping obviously Flacco because he's going to start. I don't know what they're going to do with Deshaun. I have no clue what they're doing with that guy.
But see, here's the problem with Sanders, bud. And this has been shown, is showcased at CU. We've already seen glimpses of this we're not even to training camp yet. And I use Bo Nix as an example. And you and I weren't big on Bo, but we never questioned this kid's character. You know, we thought Bo had character because that's what was there at Oregon.
I mean, I never liked Shedeur already. I like what CU did anyways. I was never a fan of it.
Sanders has been a pampered kid, not necessarily his fault. Your parents, they sometimes can pamper you whether you want it or not. But the bottom line here is he's been pampered his entire competitive career from Pop Warner League all the way through college with his dad. So he's never had anybody get in his face. So the problem for Sanders is that I believe, as opposed to Nix, who they threw out there, and you and I both thought this might not be the best idea. Maybe let him sit, learn behind somebody for a little bit, and we'll see how he does. I really believe you throw this kid out there to start a season, he's not mature enough to handle all the expectations that would be expected of him. And he's the type of person I'm not sure he can handle that. And I think he could be set back by it.
Well, according to everybody else and his dad and all these other people, he's going to make everybody eat crow and those. So then put him out there and then show it.
Oh, no, I
okay.
get what you're saying.
So then if this is how you feel, this is what you think you can do, this is how you're going to make us better. Your dad over here thinks that, everybody made a mistake. A lot of people in the draft said everybody just passed on him, made a huge mistake. He's going to make everybody pay for it. Okay, then start.
Yeah,
show it. Because, and here's the thing, okay, I would say he would shut everybody up if he made the playoffs. Because if you make the playoffs, that means you kept either Burrow, Lamar, or Rodgers out in your division. You can't get all 4 teams in. You can't get all 4 teams.
No, yeah, but you could get 3.
That's what I'm saying. But that means you'd have to kept out one of those You would have had to keep out Rodgers. You'd have to kept out Burrow or Jackson. You had to keep out one of those 3.
Yeah.
So that means you're that good because you're not going to get and then on top of that, if you got 3 in, who else in the West is getting dropped off? It's not Mahomes. It's not going to be Allen.
Yeah,
is it Nix? Is it Herbert? Is it? I mean, who else is who else are you going to get? Who else is going to get taken out? Tua? Stroud? I mean, you're look, these teams. Those are great quarterbacks. So if he makes the playoffs, yes, then you proved you're starting to prove people wrong. You did well with the Cleveland team that not a lot of people think are doing great. So put him out there then. I hate this. Goes back to like we were talking about with like Kalen. You talk the talk, then let him walk the walk. Let him go out there then and say, okay, you're that good. Go show off your stuff. I'm sick and tired of them. Like you said, he's being pampered again. Okay, well, let's not throw him out there. We have Flacco here. Flacco's 40. And he showed, a little bit of a glimpse in Indianapolis when he ran on this little run or whatever. People thought he was back. He ain't back. I'm sorry. It's over, Flack. Okay? Deshaun, you guys got a problem there because you paid him all that damn money to find out what the heck's going on with him. You got to get rid of that somehow. I don't know how. You just got to pay him. So now so your only option is Shedeur or Dillon. Okay? I like Dillon Gabriel. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he should maybe start over Shedeur. But hey, you want to run your mouth, Shedeur? All these other people out here, all these critics that want to say that everybody forgot him, then put him in and let him play. He's playing in the toughest division. Let's see what you do then.
I've seen examples, aside from, what we're talking about at CU and stuff like that, with this, and the speeding, I push that aside because you and I talked about, the incident not an incident, but where he's standing next to Joe and they're going through drills and he's trying to show Joe a dance. And you can tell that Joe's irritated by this. It's not professional. I watched, and I didn't send you this because at this point it's irrelevant, but he's doing a TikTok video, and I'm not saying, folks, that nobody does. I get it, but this is a kid who you assume is trying to make this football team. He's doing a TikTok with some kid next to the goalpost on the practice field, and they're doing these dance moves and stuff like that. And everything I see from this kid just tells me that the entire focus is not on football. And again, Anthony and I just talked about this. The sport itself is not primarily the focus of the athlete anymore anyway, but you're a rookie who, as Bud said, this is your put up or shut up moment. And yet, if I'm the coach of the Cleveland Browns, my depth chart is not, Joe first, Sanders second, Pickett third, Gabriel fourth. Mine is going to be, and Joe is kind of iffy here because he's 40 years old, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because of experience. But as we go into training camp, Coach Mike has got Joe first. He's probably going to have Gabriel second, Pickett third, and Sanders is going to be hoping to make this football team. So I'm not invested in this guy anyway.
It's funny. It's funny you say about the TikTok thing and dancing because both CU's players that were drafted have videos that are like that. Because even Hunter had a video of him dancing during practice, and one of the receivers are like, "Hey, knock it out! Come on, let's get back in." And it's like,
get your ass focused.
And it's just it's both sides, and it's because of how, like you said, how they've been treated, how they've been handled coming up to this stage. It's been spoon-fed to them. It's been handed to them, literally. And I will say this, obviously, Hunter's been a lot better. I mean, Hunter's a tremendous player who has worked hard to be where he's, but he's going to find out it's going to be a lot harder than he thinks to play both sides on the field at the NFL level than it was at college and high school level, of course. He's going to figure that out, and it's not going to last. I do not see this lasting the whole season. I do not see him playing both sides of the field for the whole season. I maybe halfway through. I bet you, I don't know when Jacksonville's bye week is, but I promise you, by that bye week, he's probably going to switch to one side or the other.
I hope that he has a Hall of Fame career because of everything that's been built up about him.
I hope so too.
Sanders is going to be a journeyman quarterback who I fully believe will be out of the league by year 5 or 6. I really believe this.
But see, here's the problem, Mike. He's only going to be able to be a Hall of Fame player if he chooses one side. He's not going to be able to withstand the season. No. And like I said this before too. It's like, what if? Okay, let's put this into perspective, right? He's a wide receiver, okay? He's out on a play. It's 3rd and 20, right? He's trying to get the 3rd and 20. He's got to go over the middle. He just gets blasted. Mm-hmm. On 3rd and 20, he's blasted, 2 yards short. And he gets just blasted over the middle. But They got to punt. He's got to come back on defense.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
How are you? My first thought is he just got beat up. They haven't got him up. He's got to come back on. You know, he gets the free play off the field because they're going to punt, so he gets the one play. I'm throwing directly in his direction that next play because he just got his bell rung. Or on top of that, okay, I just got my bell rung. Most wide receivers, okay, I got hit. Let me go off to the side, take a. You're our other defensive back, though, now. You're our number one wide receiver and our number one defensive back on this team. Now I have to sit you out because you just got obliterated on the offensive side. Now I have to put my second string is already over here. Now I got to put my third. I got to move second string to your number one wide receiver who you're not, to my third string defensive back now because you got beat up. And now these guys have to play offense, and now we're going to get beat up and down the field until you're ready to come back. Then you come back, or say same thing on defense. You get burned or you get hurt on play. Where's my wide receiver now? Now I don't have a wide receiver because I got hurt. You got hurt on defense. It's not going to work, man. You have to take some time off. You have to do what's right for your team, not just for yourself all the time. That's what the whole point of this is. There's 53 guys on that roster. You're not the only one. This isn't tennis. This isn't boxing. I don't see it working. What's going to happen, like I said, on one of those plays when that happens and you don't have your defensive back out there?
Yeah, but you know the other part of that too, Bud, is and you can go all the way back to when he was at Jackson State before everybody came to see you. You know, you're not going to have those cushion games where you're playing CSU one week, and
Appalachian State to the next or something. You know what I mean?
You're in the NFL now, and the bottom line here is those 53 guys in the opposing roster are considered to be 53 of the best in the world at playing football. Whether they're all pros or not, they're good enough to be one of the 53 that play in the league.
Yep.
And so, like, to your point, okay, Hunter, you go out there on offense, you're playing against the second or best defensive back or safety. You know, these are top tier safeties. Cornerbacks.
I mean, it's true.
Now you're on defense, and you're playing against the best receivers football has to offer. And what are you? And you're tired.
I mean, you look at that roster. He is the number one wide receiver and the number one defensive back. So you are going to go up against the best wide receiver, and you are going to be the best wide receiver on that team.
And you haven't seen.
And here's the thing: I would not worry so much if, say, he was built like Randy Moss or T.O., right? Yeah. Because huge. This kid is not big. Like, he's not bulked. He's not. If you looked like Randy Moss or T.O., do what you want. You're gonna be fine. But you're gonna get hit. Now, unless they plan on keeping him like a Randy Moss or like a Plexico Burst, just keep running streaks and you're gonna just stay on the outside. Okay, it might work, so you're not gonna get beat up as much. But what's the point of that? Now you're taking away his ability where he's the best on the field, and that's making plays after the catch, using his speed, using, his elusiveness. Now you're just taking that away by just throwing him, just deep passes because you want to keep him fresh on the defensive side too. I think that's what's going to. I don't even know as a coach how you do that, because even Prime time, he didn't go on the offensive side all the time. I think he did occasionally, but it was very rare. He was a punt returner and a defensive back. But he was also built to do that. He was strong. He was tall. He was big. Travis doesn't have that. And again, but if ultimately he settles into one side of the ball, then that's great. He's not as on the defensive side of the field. Maybe he winds up with a jacket. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Injuries always can play a factor. He's going to have to pick one or the other at some point. But as he enters the league right now, and he's a rookie, just if you look at him from a defensive standpoint, there's a guy in Denver that is considered the best of the best, and this guy is still learning. Yep.
Surtain is still learning a little bit of his position, and he's now considered the best at it.
And not only that, they also drafted another guy that can also be just as good as Surtain, possibly, in Barron.
But Travis, son, you got to stop the dancing. You gotta focus on what you're
Yeah, I
supposed to be
mean,
doing.
there's a time and a
Not
place
gonna
for
work.
it. There is.
That's
There's a time
fine.
and a place. There's always fun time. I mean, yes, I have no problems with people, especially even in practice. I have no problems with being
Yeah, you
just
gotta have
being
a
more.
balance.
I don't want to say just being more calm and relaxed in practice. So nobody wants to be in practice. Nobody wants to be all tensed up. And I get that too. You want to be kind of laid back a little bit, but you also have to understand that when it's game time though, or when it's practice time, when we're in a when we're actually locked in and doing something, fine. If we're on a water break and you want to have a little bit of cool, whatever, shake off the practice we had, that's fine. In the locker room, that's fine. Have a little bit of fun, put on some music. That's your relaxed showtime. Not when you're in the middle of an actual drill and doing stuff where you're doing all that stuff. Lock in and get ready. You haven't even stepped foot on an NFL field yet to play one game. And you're out here acting like you've been playing for 10 years and you got, 4 rings under your belt.
And then here's the other
Now
problem.
you do that, fine. You're Tom Brady. If you're Tom Brady, fine, Tom. Do whatever you want, Brad. You want to dance? You want to sing? You want to do karaoke? You can do whatever you want. You got 7 rings, brother. But you ain't done anything in the NFL yet. Neither one of those two. And they're playing. And the fact that they both came from CU and that they're both in the media for something like this, what does that tell you about them then? It shows that they haven't been brought up to play this game correctly.
Yeah, and when you have that much publicity, and you're on there, putting $500,000 chains around your neck right before the draft, and all this hype that's been going on with you as a receiver and on the defensive side of the game, and now you're coming into the league. The other problem is you're getting that opposition, that player or players that are going to face off against you. You're going to get their best because they're not going to be too crazy about you
It's
as
kind
it
of,
is.
it's kind
They're
of
gonna
like
let your
it's
ass out.
kind of like what we just said about
They're gonna let
It's
your
like
ass
about
out.
Caitlin Clark, right? Those girls are playing basketball. These are grown men now that are seeing you doing your dancing look at Juju Smith-Schuster, right? He was the
watching
TikTok
that.
dude that every time. And where is he now? He's not even in the talks of being. I mean, I don't even know if he's in the league. He probably is somewhere. He might still be with Kansas City. I don't remember if he is or not. But even if he is, he's not a 1. He's not a 2. He's maybe a 3 or a 4 wide receiver in the league. So all this, players see that. Players that are locked in. Other defensive backs, other linebackers. And I promise you, even if you're not in the play, when you're coming across the middle, somebody's going to give you a lick. And they're going to let you know, hey, welcome to the NFL. Or if you have the ball, be careful, and you better use your speed and your elusiveness to get away because you're going to get hit. And it's going to be your welcome to the NFL thing. And so I just never understood why, even as a rookie, why wouldn't you just come in just like, I want to learn. I want to get better. Like, I've never played this game before.
No,
I need to
you want
learn
to
from my veteran. I need to learn how to get better. I know I'm not anywhere close to where I need to be. I want to get to that level. If I was a rookie playing, and it could be any sport. I mean, I don't care what sport I'm in because it's whatever I made it in. It's the sport I love. That's the sport I worked hard to be in here. So I'm going to whatever veteran they tell me to, whoever's on this team. Whoever I can, and say, I need a or go to the coach and say, I need a mentor. I need somebody that's going to keep me on my keep me on the way that needs to be. How do I become better? After practice, what's a better workout method? Am I eating right? Should I get a better diet? Go to all this stuff and say, what can I do so that when I'm gone, maybe not even just get a gold jacket, but to at least leave my legacy out there that says, man, this guy was, he was one of the great. He should be in there. He should have got. He just didn't play on a great team, and he never got a ring. That's why just cement myself in there. But no, these guys, they don't want to do that.
They don't want to do it, but and you've mentioned it many times, and you're spot on with this, is that social media has corrupted
Oh, it's terrible.
with the young
It's
guys.
awful.
They
It's awful.
buy into the press. They get caught up in their TikToks and their
Podcasts, all this stuff.
and all
yeah.
that stuff. And the focal point's not there. And like you just said, so what happens with that? Like with Travis. And I'll tell you what, bud, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. something tells me something's going to go askew with this kid, and he's going to wind up problems with the wife, problems with money,
Yeah.
not taking the field performance like he needs to. And I hope he doesn't jeopardize what could potentially be a Hall of Fame career.
For
But
sure.
something doesn't sit right. And I think, like I said, Sanders is going to wind up a journeyman QB out of the league by year 6, 7 at best. He'll be an afterthought. But Travis, man, kid, everything around you right now is begging for you to make a mistake. It is begging for it. And
Well, what I'm
hope
going to say for Travis is just keep your head on straight. Keep working
that's
hard
it.
because here's the thing is I don't think Jacksonville's close to being anywhere yet right now. And they have a lot of problems. But keep doing what you're doing so that way when it comes time for free agency, you can go somewhere that has a chance, that needs you, that can win a ring, where you can become that great player like that. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep it on the low. Just keep working hard to get to be a better player.
Because at some point, if you're that talented,
You'll
your
get there.
talent's going to
You'll get there.
dictate that the
It's gonna
players
get
are
there.
look to you to lead that team. I'm telling you, Sertan right now is the leader on defense. He's earned it. So
Yeah.
it comes with the expectation. And so be ready, kid, because there's a lot of things you don't understand yet about what's going on. Both you kids.
And let me just say this to be fair to everyone. I'm not hoping he fails. Like I really
I'm not either.
hope. No, I'm
both
hoping.
make it.
I'm not hoping he fails on what I mean by I'm not hoping he fails doing the both sides thing. I actually hope he can make it work. I actually
Yeah.
would love to see this be the first time where it does work out, where he can even like somebody be a Hall of Famer doing this the way he is in this day and age. Like I think that would be great and tremendous to see. But I also hope that like he has the mentality to say like, if for some reason it's not working, it's not to where it needs to be, and the coaches are like, we need you to pick a side, that he doesn't fight back on this and just say,
Yep.
fine, whatever I need to do, I will go ahead and do that. But I'm hoping it works out. I really want to see this. I really would love to be able to go and say, man, we're actually able to watch the first person literally in this day and age. I mean, it's happened before, guys. There's these back in the 50s and stuff.
Yeah.
Guys had to play both sides of the field. It didn't even matter. So you had to. But this day and age, where what it is now, to see it happen would be crazy and insane. And to be able to say, this guy made a Hall of Fame doing this, I mean, I would be cool to see, to be a part of it and watch that. I would love to see it. So I'm not sitting here hoping that he fails on this. I'm hoping it works out, and I'm hoping that if it doesn't, that he's open-minded to saying, no, I get it. I understand. You're right. It's not working. I will pick a side at that point. That's what I'm hoping for.
And the last thing I'll say is Shador, prove me wrong. I mean, I hope you do manage to become.
That's what I'm saying. Put him in. Just let him play
Prove me
then.
wrong. Prove
That's
me
what I'm saying. It'd be different. Like I
push the
said, it'd be different if Cleveland was projected like in the top 5, right? Okay, then don't do what you're doing. Nobody expects them to even win, to even come out of. You can be in 3rd place in that division right now. Now that Rodgers is there, of course not. And there's nobody. I guarantee, folks, when everybody starts coming out with their stuff, and actually next week, what we're going to do is we're going to do our way too early predictions for the NFL. Mike and I we'll do this next week. There's our way too early predictions about stuff. But when predictions come out, nobody in that division, in the AFC North, is going to have Cleveland in 3rd place. No. Definitely not 2nd or 1st. Again, nobody's going to have them in 3rd. They will be dead last in almost everybody's prediction. There'll be some people, I'm sure, that'll be like, feel like us, be like Rodgers, because I even say that too. I mean, Mike, you said 6 from Cleveland. I'm thinking maybe Pittsburgh might get 6 or 7 only too. So, but I'm thinking Cleveland's less than that even, than 6. So, I mean, maybe with the way you have it, maybe they could teeter-totter with Pittsburgh and maybe make a 3rd spot. Me, no. I mean, I got Cleveland maybe winning 3 to 4 this year. So,
and that's more realistic.
So for me, it's like, so why not then? Why not just throw them out there and say, go ahead? I mean, if we're already projected to be that bad, what difference does it make? If he goes and loses every game, oh well, we weren't projected to do anything. But if he comes out and finds a way to get you guys to the playoff, okay, maybe we found the diamond in the rough.
But my thing for me too would be, and this will be the last thing I really say about that situation with him is I have a quarterback named Gabriel who could be a starter. I'd be more invested in seeing what his potential is in Shador.
Yeah.
I just, for the life of me, I'll never understand why they went about the draft the way they did. Cleveland does not make sense. They created more problems than they
I
ever
can't.
should have.
I don't
You
know
know,
either.
but it is what
I
it
don't
is. So
know.
they'll work it out, and we'll see. But I think Gabriel's got more upside than Sanders.
I think the problem is Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's never in their. If you think about their whole franchise, has never had a great quarterback.
Never.
In the well,
he's
I mean,
not
I'm talking in this day. I mean, Graham.
Cozen
What
was
well, you
our last
got
great
Graham.
quarterback.
I mean, in your entire franchise, you have Graham and Kozar. Kozar hasn't played since what 90, 92 is when he retired, something like
They had a
that. Graham
decent-
played in the 50s.
Yeah, they had a decent quarterback in Brian Sipe, but he wasn't.
But Sipe's not.
No.
He's not. Sipe's third behind Kozar and
He's
Graham
not what you
even.
build a franchise
So
around.
you've gone through guys like Manziel, Tim Couch, who else? I mean, Brandon
Watson.
Whedon at one point. You got Watson, you got Flacco trying to. Cleveland has just been terrible. So they're trying to just draft quarterbacks to try to see if somebody can finally be somebody in Cleveland again, but it's not going to work. I don't see it happening. I mean, I like Gabriel, but I don't think Gabriel's a franchise changer. I don't think he's, especially in that division where you're going to have to go against Lamar, who's still young, Burrow, who's still young. Pittsburgh's obviously going to try to figure out what they can do after Rodgers, but even if you go against Rodgers, you're still not better than Rodgers, neither one of you two. So Cleveland's in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. But like I said, folks, next week we are going to do our we're just going to call them our too early predictions for the NFL. Obviously, because nothing's been, we're barely getting into training camp stuff. We don't even know who's going to come out of preseasons and stuff, but we just want to do something a little fun. We're going to do our too early predictions. And then obviously as the season gets closer, we'll do our actual predictions and see when it comes to the end of the season and stuff, we'll see which one's better. Was our too early predictions better, or was our real predictions even better? But for sure, we're going to get into that a little bit more. But we appreciate you guys being here with us today. Glad we can get back on here with you guys. We missed you for sure. We'll be on again for sure. Hopefully next week again, same time, Sunday, 1 Mountain Standard Time. I hope this is working out a little bit better for a lot of you folks that are able to watch us. We just felt like Saturdays was a little bit more for doing it at evenings where a lot more people, and especially around summertime now, you got the kids home and stuff. A lot of people are wanting to go out, do things more on Saturday nights and stuff, whereas Sunday is a little bit more of a chill day before going back to work in the afternoon. You're kind of just relaxing, hoping you guys could tune into the show a little bit more. So we're going to kind of stick around with this for now on. If we have to make a change, we will, but as of right now, we're going to stick to Sundays, 1 Mountain Standard Time. But like I said, we appreciate you guys being here. Please let us know in the chat about anything we talked about today. I hope our audio issues weren't too long on there. I'm hoping it was okay. We did talk about NBA stuff first off in there about the finals. So please catch the finals tonight. Starts at 8 Eastern tonight on ABC. Game 7, huge. We both got OKC tonight. Mike has OKC a little bit higher on a 119-107. I have 110-108. OKC winning tonight. Also, let us know about that KD trade. How many of you are happy? If you Rockets fans, are you excited about it? Are you not excited about it? Do you guys think the Rockets made the right choice here? We did get a little WNBA stuff. Let us know what you guys felt about that. Even MLB, are you guys excited about how open it is? You guys excited about the Tigers and Cubs up there? You guys still more on the Yankees and Dodgers things, And NFL, how do you guys feel about Travis Hunter? Sorry, how do you guys feel about Shador, what we talked about today? What do you give us some of your early predictions? What do you guys got going on? And just throw in the chat who your favorite team is. Let's find out where you guys are all from, what you guys enjoy, and things like that. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed today. We had a real fun time today. It's been a while since we've been on, and we miss you guys for sure.
Yeah, most definitely, folks. And just real quick, a quick shout out to the Florida Panthers. Congratulations on back-to-back titles.
Great job.
And then with that NCAA baseball, hey, tell you what, LSU, Coastal Carolina, folks, just a real quick shout out to my boys from my hometown. Maybe they get the job done today, forcing game 3. We'll see what happens. But
I hope so.
But bottom line, as I always like to say, folks, with everything you see here, presentation, graphics, none of it, audio, happens without the brilliance of this person next to me, my left or right, I don't know what you're looking at. But Anthony is just brilliant with everything you see and do. And without him, this show absolutely will not happen. I always tip my hat to Mr. Alvarez. Fantastic job each and every week.
Well, don't give me too much. I think we screwed up some audio at first, so now everybody's gonna be like, "Dang it, he screwed it up though." No, I appreciate it. No, for sure. But no, like I said, folks, we're glad to be here. Check us out again next week. We should be back on Sunday, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We're going to get into, I would probably be a little bit more, the whole show probably be a lot more of the predictions than anything. We will obviously try to talk a little bit about Game 7 at the beginning, but it'll be a lot more. We're just trying to get in a little more NFL stuff. It's that time, folks, for sure.
It is. It's right here.
Definitely. But once again, like I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Just hitting that like helps us a lot more than you guys think, for sure. So we appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys have good rest of the day. Hopefully you guys enjoy the finals tonight if you're tuning in to watch it. And have a good rest of the week for sure. And stay safe out there, folks.
Have a good weekend, folks.
I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits, excuse me. I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. The